years of age. Омари Ахмedov is 31. Both fighters 6 feet tall. Both fighters successfully making weight. Tim Boetsch will have a slight 1-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the introductions for this one, we turn it over to Joe Martinez.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This bout, 3 rounds scheduled in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, a kickboxer with a background in Wushu Sanda. At 6 feet even, he weighed at officially 184 pounds. His professional record stands at 17 victories, 4 defeats, and 1 draw. Fighting out of Makhachkala, Dagestan, Russia, here is Омари Wolverine Ахмедов. And across the octagon, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter with a background in Jeet Kune Do. At 6 feet even, he weighed in officially 185 pounds. This veteran holds a professional record standing at 21 victories and 12 defeats, fighting out of Sunbury, PA by way of Lincolnville, Maine. Here is Tim the Barbarian Boetsch. And your referee in charge of the action is Herb Dean.
Herb Dean, popular in these Wichita parts, our referee for this one. Tim Boetsch certainly has been a fan favorite, taking on Омари Ахмedov.
Ready, let's fight.
The international master of sport combat sambo and hand-to-hand combat. Ahmedov 2-0-1, spanning his last 3. We'll see if he can get off to a fast start against the Barbarian.
This could be good, man. This could be real good. These two guys know only one way, and that's forward and aggressive. But Омари does have a tendency, like we talked about, to throw too much too early and leave it all out there well before even the end of the first round sometimes.
Boetsch stalking his prey, but in a calculated way. We know Ahmedov just loads up with both of those hands. Goes high with the kick there.
That was a nice, no setup at all. Just snap that left head kick up. I'm looking at Омари and I'm thinking, you fought at 170.
I know, right. I knew you were going to go there, right. He'll keep you down at 55.
Yep, 100%. So does every other welterweight on this card.
Yeah. Ahmedov training out of American Top Team, also representing Eagles MMA.
Looking to grapple early, landed some big punches, close that distance.
And that's what the Ahmedov corner called for him to hook behind the leg, but Boetsch unable to be taken down thus far.
Yeah, it's like picking up a full keg. You know? It's not easy.
In his next fight career, he should be like the keggerer, the keg.
You need to get Tim Boetsch into some movies. He's got, look at that. He can be in every Viking barbarian movie in the world. Instead of first Tim, if he starts going on to some movie career after this shot, I was first.
Well, Boetsch more than content to hang out in these clinch situations and try to extend Омари Ахмedov.
We've seen in his fights, man, if he gets you around the head in that clinch position, starts ripping those uppercuts, that's where Tim Boetsch does some of his best work.
And despite the fact that Boetsch has invoked the retirement word here during fight week, he's also said he's feeling better physically with age. It was a training camp that he got through without injury. That's a very encouraging sign at 38 years old. So not closing the book just yet, but he has intimated that he is getting close to the end.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there, seen it, done it. 38. It's tough, but a big win, you know, you play it by ear. If he gets a big win, maybe he moves forward. Maybe he still thinks that he can make a run towards the top of the division. If not, I agree. That's when it's time to go. When you start really realistically thinking that you have no chance of competing with the best, the top 5, then it's time to go. There's no reason to take unnecessary damage.
Well, and he's a guy who really has fought them all. Luke Rockhold, Phil Davis, Mark Munoz.
Everybody.
Of course, Yushin Okami, the big comeback win. Actually,
that broke my heart, that fight. That was back, I was a huge Yushin Okami fan back in the day. And I didn't really know who Tim Boetsch was. I became a Tim Boetsch fan as well. But that night I was like, oh man, you know, Okami's going to win. And Tim Boetsch just wrecked him with those uppercuts.
Looked like Ahmedov landed partially there. Boetsch also at one point was scheduled to face Michael Bisping and Chris Weidman. Neither of those fights materialized. That right hand from Ahmedov landed cleanly on Tim Boetsch as we come up on 90 seconds to go round one.
Tim Boetsch is a sweater, man. He's got the drip going early here in round one. Which will help him out for some of these grappling exchanges. You know Omari is going to try to close the distance again. If he can't land these big bombs, he's going to try to clinch with Boetsch and get this fight to the mat. He almost had him down with that body lock. We see another calf kick, man.
Second UFC fight as a middleweight for Омари Ахмедов after a 4-3 run as a UFC welterweight,
which is insane.
Yep. 17-4-1 overall for the Dagestani.
I've actually trained with Омари when he was training in New Mexico years ago. And he judo threw me into another universe the one time I went with him. I was like touching him. I was like, oh man, I'm feeling good. The next thing I know, I'm across the mat, dazed out of my mind with that juggernaut on top of me.
He told me he didn't remember. No, I'm just kidding.
He probably doesn't. I was kid number 400 on the mat that nobody knew. Yes.
I'm going to toss this red hand. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Land with the uppercut by Boetsch.
Flipped him with that uppercut. Ooh, nice.
Ahmedov tried to find a home for that huge right hand. Boetsch able to evade. Round two coming up in 60 seconds on ESPN+.
Lift away itch, plates, and doubt. Stay headstrong with Head & Shoulders.
The Warriors look to reverse the trend, but do the Rockets have their number? Warriors Rockets, Wednesday on ESPN. Presented by State Farm.
All right, back live here for round two. Tim Boetsch and Омари Ахмедов. Big part of the goal already accomplished for Boetsch. Get through those first 5 minutes without absorbing too many of those Ahmedov haymakers. Boetsch wearing black, Ahmedov's in white.
It's a nice leg kick there from Boetsch. Ahmedov returns one. He landed a few in the first round.
There's that front kick that Marcus Davis called for between rounds. Tim Boetsch made his UFC debut more than 10 years ago. Unforgettable stoppage of David Heath, Groundhog Day 2008.
There's a nice right hand there from Омари. Oh, that broke the nose of Tim Boetsch. It's not even bleeding, but he grabbed at it. I can't tell if it was like that before, but nope, there it is.
Yeah,
There's
it looks
the
like
blood.
Boetsch dealing with a smashed nose.
Yeah, that was clean straight right that Омари landed right on the nose.
Well, you know, the Maynard Tim Boetsch will fight through that as best he can. Boetsch, a 4-year Division I wrestler at Lock Haven University, 4-time state champion in high school.
John, I just saw the replay of that right hand, and it was a clean, straight right, broke the nose of Tim Boetsch. Absolutely.
All right.
There's no question in that one. You can see it from the angle. It's pushed in. It's the whole bridge is caved, which is actually, it's not bleeding too bad, so his breathing is going to be affected. But as far as it bothering him, it shouldn't be too bad. It's going to suck tomorrow, but it's actually going to not be pleasant in about 10 minutes.
Tonight's probably not going to be super pleasant. So Boetsch forced to breathe out of his mouth here about 7 minutes into this one.
Which is not good when you got Омаri throwing haymakers over the top. They're going to take your head off. He is pacing himself better, though, here in round 2. He's got to know that nose is broken, though. I'm surprised he's not at least jabbing at it to try to get it to open up even more.
Well, physically, Ahmedov landed the right hand there. He looks good at 185 pounds. He certainly maximized this time away from the octagon. Nice right hand counter from Ahmedov.
Yeah, that front kick actually landed to the chin of Ahmedov, but countered it beautifully. Came right over the top, caught it a little bit. A little frustration on the face of Tim Boetsch there.
Under 2 minutes to go. Ahmedov touches the body, not much behind it. Ahmedov goes low with that attack.
Going after that calf. Also been watching the last fight in the back. Or any other UFC fight in the last year or so.
Months, yeah. Looks like that nose increasingly becoming a nuisance for Tim Boetsch, but he continues to advance here. Under 90 seconds to go in the round.
Yeah, the concern would be that it could start swelling his eyes and tearing up his vision, which is just going to make it really hard to see. Yeah, that's definitely broken, man. I'd like to see some urgency from Omari. You've got your opponent hurt pretty bad with that nose. Now you're in the clinch, some elbows. Right, really open that thing up really bad. Even using his forehead like that, digging under the chin, right in there. Just rough him up.
Yeah, put the head right on the nose.
Boetsch is got to try to circle out of here. Up. That 1-1 low.
Ahmedov with a couple nice knees to the body.
Are you okay?
Dean separating the action due to an inadvertent groin strike. Ahmedov asking for a minute to try to take a look at it here.
No, same position. Come on, same position. Fight.
So the knee partially, I guess, lands to the groin there, and Dean puts the fighters back in the same position.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones. It doesn't look like much, but even that little bit, if it glances off and then goes to the body, it still can be effective.
Yeah. Looked like Boetsch thought about a takedown there. Ahmedov not having it. Final seconds of the round. Omari working right in front of his corner. Good round for the Russians. Stay with us. Round 3 next.
Hey, Des.
Why Brooks? Why Glycerin?
When it comes to my shoes, I don't have to worry about them. I trust them more than I trust myself.
Call it what you will. The tee shot, the first strike. Here, it's more. The push, the grit, the will. All part of the drive at the Masters.
That if you have it, the way you take away his over, his
back live here for round 3. Paul Felder has been jonesing for an opportunity to see this right hand that allegedly broke the nose of Tim Boetsch, and to talk about it. The floor is yours.
Here we go. Look, it was just a clean, straight right. Look at this. Bing, broken nose right there.
Man.
Yep. Caved in the bridge of his nose. I had that exact same break on my nose. And he will most likely have to have some surgery.
You had surgery?
I had to have surgery. It does not look like it anymore.
Yeah, you look pretty good, man. All right, so third and final round here, and Marcus Davis, the Irish hand grenade, not mincing words in the corner of Tim Boetsch. He said, you're being too tentative. This has got to be it. You got to take him out in this third and final round. Boetsch presses forward, lands a right hand partially over the top. Trevor Whitman, what do you have?
That's exactly right. You know, Marcus Davis was saying, hey, you cannot be patient. You have to go. I feel if he got behind a double jab and learned, I wouldn't say learned, but was able to get his feet there, Tim can punch. And if he can get in that gap, I mean, he can change a fight in any moment. And sometimes when you see those nose broken like that, I had an issue one time when my nose was broke where I was swallowing the blood. And that sucks. So that could be affecting it too.
Trevor Whitman, thank you very much. He's here all night, folks.
That's a great point, because it's not necessarily coming out of the nose, right? That nose is bleeding somewhere.
Right. Boetsch able to land a right hand just around that ear level of Ahmedov. Numbers pretty close in terms of strikes. Slight edge for Boetsch in terms of total strikes. Advantage Ahmedov with the significant strikes.
And probably cage control and the clinch. When they've been on the fence, it's been all Ahmedov. So also things that the judges will be looking for. Right now, he's doing a lot of circling back, but Boetsch just having trouble letting it go. And I feel like that nose is probably bothering him more than he's letting us know.
Nice combination from Ahmedov, landed the right and then the left hook on the back end. 3.5 minutes now to go. And Boetsch now cut to the right of his right eye. USA chants here in Wichita, trying to spur Tim Boetsch on.
Ooh, nice left hook counter there from Omari. See, that's the problem. You overcommit against Ahmedov, and he's going to throw 3 hooks at your head.
Ahmedov's style is such that it's hard to do for 15 or 25 minutes in a fight because he throws everything with fighting intentions, but physically, strength-wise, looks to be in outstanding shape.
And I think he's been smart in this fight. I think he's been conservative about not just letting it all go out there and losing it all in the first round. He's circling, he's being patient, then he'll explode with a 3-punch combo. Or he'll clinch Tim Boetsch up against the fence, work on him there for a little bit, instead of just leading it all out there in the first round and gassing himself out looking for the knockout.
Let's work. Engage.
Herb Dean warning the fighters to engage. You can be penalized for timidity.
Yeah.
Engage.
Don't see it often, but that's a couple warnings now from Herb.
Boetsch continues to press forward as we show you the significant strike numbers, rounds 1 through 3. Ahmedov leading the dance as far as that's concerned in all 3 rounds thus far. Ahmedov counters with the left hand to the body, just missed with the right hand. Boetsch able to duck underneath it.
Oh, big right hand there from Omari.
Yeah, and that one
Maybe
affecting
another
the vision in that left eye for Boetsch.
Can't see out of that left eye. Now he's bleeding on both sides of his eyebrows. His nose is clearly broken. And Tim Boetsch feeling it right now, especially after you say, possibly my last fight, thinking about retirement. This is not the kind of punishment you want to be taking. This is not going to make you want to get back in there again, John. But Omari lets him off the hook. He gets him hurt for a little bit, and then he circles away, and I wonder if it's conserving that energy.
Well, perhaps just managing risk, trying to prioritize the win. Ahmedov seemingly ahead on the scorecards. Under a minute now to go.
Just knowing that at any point Tim Boetsch lands a punch, and he's going sleepies.
Ahmedov continues to circle without much intent offensively.
Yeah, Boetsch is the one full of pressure, but Omari doing a good job of angling off. Man, now they just trade.
Yeah, pretty good left-hand counter from Timmy Boetsch. Just unable to find the range all that consistently tonight. Final 30.
Tim Boetsch definitely had trouble with Omari's footwork and movement in this fight. Just when he gets too close, thinks he can land it, Omari clinches up, works his grappling a little bit, and not necessarily takedown grappling. He's just looking to keep busy, stay in the clinch, work some punches, dirty box, and win the fight.
All right, so Tim Boetsch and Omari Ahmedov go the distance, all 15 minutes contested on the feet. Who got the job done? The official decision coming up next on ESPN+.
It's our soccer. Tomorrow on ESPN and FS1. Pacers 76ers tomorrow at 3:30 on ABC. MLS is back. A Soccer Sunday doubleheader. Line them up. You know the deal. It's our soccer. Atlanta United versus FC Cincinnati, followed by LAFC versus Portland Timbers. Tomorrow on ESPN and FS1.
Call it what you will. The tee shot, the first strike. Here, it's more. The push, the grit, the will. All part of the drive at the Masters.
UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Dos Santos is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. All right, the official decision is in. It resides with Joe Martinez.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 see it. 30-27, your winner by unanimous decision, the Wolverine, Омари Ахмедov.
So Омари Ахмедov now unbeaten dating to April of 2016.